back stretch, slowly making his way around the final turn. His debut Western States 100 from Seattle, Washington, 27 years old, Brian Morrison. Time is now 18 hours, coming up on 18 hours and 4 minutes. He's got 50 meters to go. Let there be no doubt, because this is one of the most challenging ultra marathons in the world.
My name is Brian Morrison, and I'm running the Western States 100 mile this weekend. I first ran it in 2006, led the race from the river to the track, and collapsed rather unexpectedly on the track and was disqualified from the race. I was the first to cross the finish line, but didn't do so under my own power. And the years after 2006, I went back in 07, overtrained. I got sick going into the race that year and dropped at dusty corners just because I think I was a little scared too. Things weren't feeling great. 2008 was canceled because of forest fires. That was actually the most heartbreaking year for me at Western States because I was smarter about my training. I was training probably less angrily. I guess they made the call Wednesday before race day. So 2-3 days before the race. So that was heartbreaking. 2009, I had another really rough day. Training had gone well, but I couldn't keep food down. Lots of vomiting, so I pulled the plug. I've run Western States, 3 times, and it should have been a 4th. I've put in, I guess, 4 years of training and don't have a buckle to show for it. So the goal this year is to finish it just about any cost, even if I'm walking it in. I've got 30 hours, so I really want a buckle.
Yeah, we're here. We're doing it. It's just, you forget like what a big deal Western States is, especially in the ultra world. A lot of energy and excitement. Feels good though. Feels really good. What do you think, Jack? How does it feel?
Good.
Yeah, are you excited?
Yeah.
Good. Thank you very much.
In 2006, one of my friends was sitting in the stands. He's one of our aid station captains now, and he was sitting next to some people who had never seen Western States before. And Brian goes all the way around the track, being helped. They look over at my friend and they say, is this normal? Is this what this sport's about? And he tried to tell them, no, this isn't, but that was their first impression of the finish of Western States.
It was pretty sudden. Brian, definitely had
put himself out there, and anybody who runs 100-milers or ultramarathons knows at the moment, you're really kind of walking that fine line between pushing the body to the extreme edge. And Brian started weaving a little bit before he got to the track, and then when he got to the track, collapsing. It was pretty severe and sudden for me. Like, I anticipated, okay, he's really pushing himself, but didn't anticipate him collapsing there, and don't know what to think, what's happening, what's going on with Brian. I was obviously concerned about his health and just trying to figure out, he needs to get to the finish line and medical help.
So Brian came to us last year, and he asked if he ran a qualifier, would we give him special consideration. Brian's case was obviously very unique, and I put it to the Special Consideration Committee, and it was unanimous and immediate that, yeah, if you go run a qualifier, Brian, you will have a spot in the 2016 Western States.
Welcome everybody to 2016 Western States 100. So, it really shook him to his core. He was a really good runner, obviously. And he kind of backed off, continued to run, but didn't race. Finally, 9 years later, he came back and ran Cascade Crest 100 in a sort of middle of the pack time last year to get a qualifier, and we wanted him to come back and complete Western States, so he was given special consideration in the lottery and got a ticket into the race this year. And finally, many of you will remember him from 2006. 10 years ago, he was leading the race by about 20 minutes, collapsed on the track 3 times, ultimately unable to finish under his own power. He is returning a decade later to rectify that. From Seattle, Washington, Brian Morrison.
This year. He feels great. He's been training really hard this year. He feels healthy. He feels good. And I'm just really hopeful that this year is the year that he can get this off his back. But I have a lot of guilt about this race. I think a lot about 2006. If we had just told Brian that he had a comfortable lead, that he wouldn't have pushed himself, he wouldn't have ran out of No Hands Bridge as hard as he felt he needed to run. He would have finished. And that would have been the end of the story. The funny thing is, my husband has a lovely sense of humor. He's like, but this is a much better story.
Brian has been incredibly open about 2006 since I've known him, and I've known him for 4 or 5 years now, kind of going since I moved back to Seattle in 2011, and going into the store all the time to, you know, for buy gear or to get advice, or when I started kind of doing trail and ultra stuff, like, you know, he was a really great resource for that, and he was always really open about what happened in 2006 in a way that is, you know, pretty amazing, and he talks about it with a level of humility and humor that, you know, I wouldn't expect from someone who'd gone through that type of experience.
Brian will talk about Western States openly to anyone who asks him, but it's not like, you know, we sit at home and talk about Western States. And this year, I've heard him say so many times to people when he's talking that he thinks about this race every day. And that breaks my heart. Like, I feel like it should not be something that he thinks about every day.
So yeah, training with Brian has been awesome. I've learned a lot from him. I think that he's definitely run and trained a lot more than he did even for Cascade Crest. I didn't know him in 2006. You know, we did this run out in Yakima, and it was like 100 degrees out, and I really couldn't run anymore, and it was a serious struggle for me. And you know, he was still running through that pretty strong. So I think that you know, I knew then that I think he'd be able to deal with whatever heat was going to happen here.
And mind you, I hate this race. No offense to all the organizers and all the history and the amazing lore behind it. I hate this race. I tell anyone who will listen that I hate this race. And it's just like, I feel like every time I come back, there's just heartbreak. I guess best outcome is that on Sunday, I will say that I love Western States. It's really hard to believe right now, but it would be awesome to see Brian finish with our kids, with all of our friends and family here, and that from here on out I can say I actually love this race. That would be pretty amazing.
Buddy, okay, good job.
Do you want us to refill powder or hand you bottles?
Refill?
Nice work, Brian.
Oh, you got
it. Yeah, please. Drop it, top it down.
Nice work, Brian. Put it in your hands.
I'm all right, Ethan. Yeah, pretty good. Yeah.
You take half.
Feels long and hot and hard.
We got this.
You got it!
Go, Brian, you got it! All right. All right.
Might have thought this through. I'm not sure.
I give Dad the water bottles and the sock.
What's the sock for?
Holding ice.
But where does it go? Does he put it on his foot?
What? You have car sickness on the way to Doug Corner. That's hard. Texting all the other people back home.
Well, and I know you just ran 40 miles, but my legs are really tired from standing around.
I'm happy to see a familiar face. Canyons have been a little rough to ride by today. Right after cut that, I was just puking. Boy, this climb and Devil's Thumb just took the starch out of my sails. How's it going?
I can't go in here with you, but let me ask if I can go in. So you go in there, and I will back.
Brian Morrison, welcome.
Wrong person.
Do you want a chair? Far away from that.
Hi, Daddy. Hope I won't puke on you.
Daddy. When he came in, he was just talking about how his stomach was upset. It sounds like the last two hills, he had been feeling fine, but the last two climbs really just threw him over the edge. So when he came in, we got him to sit down, and he said, this sucks, which it does. And I guess this was never meant to be easy, so we were trying to get him to eat some solids like broth and avocado, cheese, ginger ale, and he was still throwing up a little, but hopefully he'll be okay and get to Bath Road, where he'll be accompanied the rest of the way. So, and by the way, he wants bacon at Forest Hill, so if anyone can make that happen, he wants bacon at Forest Hill.
I'm pretty sure I hate this race, Ethan. Whew, it's got my number, I think. I don't know. You know, you look at the course profile, it's like, that's not a hard course. The Devil's Thumb and Michigan Bluff today were just brutal. My stomach came back around after Devil's Thumb, so I'm just hopeful that walking and eating broth or drinking broth will do it. Oh, the best part, definitely seeing Andrea and the kids. The scenery is beautiful up in the high country.
My name is Ben Gibbard. I'm going to be pacing Brian from Forest Hill, which is mile 62, to Green Gate, which is mile 80, which I've also been informed will be the hottest part of the day. Actually, I do terribly in the heat. And this whole week, I have been bitching to everybody I can about the impending heat. The last thing you are supposed to do is bring your own feelings into the matter, or your own suffering into the matter. So, you know, as a native Northwesterner, as somebody who doesn't particularly do well with heat, I'm honestly more concerned about myself from mile 62 to 80 than I'm about Brian. I think Brian's gonna be fine. So, you know, it's just gonna be a matter of staying cool and keeping him positive, and you know, anything can happen, but I feel pretty confident that we're gonna breeze through that section.
History there with Mr. Morrison. We're happy to have him here.
You know, Brian is a huge Pearl Jam fan. He's seen them over 30 times, and my band has toured with Pearl Jam. We know those guys like a little bit, so I was able to email a couple of them and ask them to film me some short motivationals that I can bust out on Brian if he's having a low moment, or maybe when I pass him off to Morgan at mile 80. So I'm gonna have that on my phone, and just, you know, if we go to an aid station, if he pops a squat and is kind of hurting, I can bust out my phone and be like, hey man, you know, Mike McCready wants to say something to you. And McCready actually sent me some like 50-second little videos of him like playing guitar and like talking to Brian and stuff. So I'm kind of excited to bust that out on him tomorrow.
Keep it going, all right?
I've been saying all day.
Rolling, huh? He's looking tough.
I know.
Let's go, man.
Wow. That's awesome.
I think 275 is amazing. Best runner on the course. Thank you.
Still having some stomach issues, but nothing a little toss of the cookies off the side of the trail every hour.
You had a couple like pretty good ones. Some pretty good upchucks.
So I'm Morgan Henderson, and I'm going to be pacing Brian Morrison from Green Gate until the end. My only thing is that when I paced him at Cascade Crest, I came up with a huge list of Pearl Jam trivia questions for him to keep his mind occupied and upbeat, because Pearl Jam is his absolute favorite band of all time. So I'm a little nervous about the fact that I don't have as many trivia questions for him this time. And we spent so much time together training for this that I feel like we've almost run out of things to talk about. So that's my big problem this time around.
This year is to finish it just about any cost, even if I'm walking it in. I've got 30 hours, so I have more ambitious goals than that, but if that's what it takes, then that's what it takes. I'm not going to push myself to any dangerous points, but if I'm throwing up, if I'm tired, if my legs hurt, I think I can push through those things this year.
Stomach's still finicky. Miles seem like they're going by really slow.
Good, keep it up.
Pacer, we got anything we need for you?
Okay. So we'll see you at the finish. Okay. I love you. Morgan, do you need anything?
No, all's good. Totally. Little bits of running here and there.
To keep your food in?
Not really. At all the aid stations, he ate stuff. Okay. And he hasn't been like puking it up. And he really wants to puke, but he's not been able to. Like he has like a full heave going, you know. But no, everything's good.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep.
We want to see Morrison.
All right.
Oh, it's going to be really special to see Brian come around the track. I hope I'm there to give him his buckle. It'll be it'll be very emotional.
Certainly one of the highlights of the day, to see the reaction, his happiness and the crowd's happiness at his getting it done after a 10-year hiatus.
I think it's pretty cool that Brian wants to go back. I mean, for a lot of people, it's something that's hard to kind of face your demons or to face something that was pretty difficult to digest at the time. And for him to go back now, I think it kind of shows that level of maturity in somebody who's like, okay, I want to see what I can do, and I'm excited for him. I hope he has a wonderful experience.
I think more than anything, it's just going to be a sense of relief to feel like we can finally move beyond this. I just really want to be at that track again, where he runs in, but with my kids this time. And I just want to really see him finish.
Brian. Thanks.
Doing it, all right. So Brian.
His first Western States. This is Brian Morrison.
'Kathy Morrison. I am Brian Morrison's mother, and I'm just happy Western States is over. We're not coming again. And we're just happy he made the finish and was aware of it. And yeah, we're beyond happy. Yeah, totally different now that it's done and it's here. And I'll be running it in 10 years. So just kidding. But we're glad it's done.
It's important to note that 10 years ago, a young man from Seattle came here and ran this race, gave it his all. And then 10 years later, after circumstances 10 years ago precluded him from having an official finish, Brian Morrison finished our race, did so in outstanding fashion. Brian, congratulations.
27-26, Brian Morrison. Coming back for that finish 10 years later.
We flew home that night on Sunday, and the next day I was just writing some thank you emails to folks, and I just realized that it felt like 100 pounds had been lifted off my back, and I wasn't even the one running it. So it felt really good to be done, and I remember mentioning that to Brian, so there was definitely a sense of relief once I was able to catch up on sleep. Like I remember at one point I saw Amalia was sleeping in her stroller, and it was just so hot and there was no shade, and I was like, oh, there's a tiny bit of shade under her stroller, so I put my head under her stroller. But yeah, I was pretty tired after being up pretty much, you know, the whole night. So I feel really lucky that we were there with people that we love and know, and who were there to cheer us on and support Brian and getting him to that finish line. So just a tremendous sense of gratitude, yeah.
I feel like I've been in a little bit of a kind of a post-Western States hangover, a lot of different mixed feelings about the race. Ultimately, I'm really proud of the fact that I had a very rough race from a stomach issue. I couldn't keep food down. So I'm proud of the fact that I was able to finish. It was not the time that I'd hoped to run. It was a lot slower than that.
So when we came home, I really quickly organized a Western States retirement party for him just to try and close the book. Down at the race, Amalia and Jack ran in with Brian, and Amalia crossed the finish line. She's like, can we do that again? I was like, no. But I guess if in 25 years, she or Jack really wanted to do the race, I can't imagine not being there for them. I would prefer never to have to go back though.
It felt like there was a lot on the line this year. I'd built it up in my head. A lot of people were there to support me, and I just felt like there was no way I was not gonna finish. So I'm proud of the fact that I got it done. But it's, you know, if I'm being totally honest, I'm slightly disappointed that I didn't run faster, just given, maybe I'm delusional. I thought I was fitter than 27.5 hours, but overall, I'm really happy to be done with the race.